How's it going, guys? You're watching Dirt Bike Channel. I'm your host, Kyle Brotherson, and some of you guys might remember me saying that months ago, it was probably back in March, there was a gentleman that had kind of reached out to me online and said, "You call this single track?" Because I had like a title in a video that said something about desert single track, and it was just, we're out in the desert, and we were just riding in a single track, and it was single track, but he's like, "This isn't single track, there are no trees, and this isn't in the mountains." And I'm like, "Look, bro, this is all I have to put up for right now because it's January, and all my single track, the single track you'd normally think is single track, is buried under, 4, 5, 6, 8 feet of snow." Anyway, so now I'm getting into the actual single track that people would believe is single track, and this is more of that. So I've got a bunch of this stuff to come, everywhere from Utah to Idaho, and I guess it's just Utah and Idaho so far that I've been riding in, and I've got a backlog of stuff that I'll be kind of putting out over the next few weeks here. So I'm riding the KTM 300XC, and my buddy Scott up there is riding a KTM 250SX, and it's pretty phenomenal how close you can get to the wildlife. I know I've mentioned that on some of the other videos, but because we're not like wrapped out on the pipe, you can get really close to a lot of deer. That last thing, or that thing that you saw just a second ago, was an elk. And these bikes are not loud. Of course, they have the Forest Service approved spark arresters on them, and because we're not like going 9 million RPMs, they're not really that loud, as compared to a lot of things, and especially even to the 4-strokes. I mean, I've been riding with my dad when he was on one of my 300s, and he's riding so low in the RPM range that I literally couldn't tell where he was until he got right back up onto me, because he's so dang quiet on the 300 2-stroke that he was riding. Right here somewhere during this thing, I'm kind of upset because I didn't actually get it on film, but I actually went over the bars. There's a very steep section where you're going down a really deep rut that's really V'd out, and the rut is so deep it's up over your pegs. And what happened is my front wheel started to kind of climb up the side of it, up the right side of it, and I was trying to get it to drop back down in, and it's very steep, and I couldn't get my wheel to drop back down into the rut. And then next thing I know, I actually dug my right handlebar into the side of the berm, because that's how deep it was, and the bike just stops, and I went, literally my feet went right up over my head, and I went over the bars kind of in a somersault. Didn't get hurt at all, just kind of hurt my pride, and Scott was behind me, and he was just laughing it up. And unfortunately, the dang GoPro wasn't running, so missed out on that one. Ride this stuff during the different seasons. It's kind of fun because in the spring it maybe looks one way, in the summer it might look a different way, and then if you ride it in more in the autumn, these trails take on a totally different look and a different persona. They have kind of a different personality about them, and a lot of that is because of all the overgrowth that's on the side of the trail. So some of the time it's really overgrown, and other times it's not so much, so you get some different obstacles that are obscured and stuff. And some of the logs get hidden in the bushes, and some of the rocks get hidden in the bushes, and so it really depends when you ride. Oh, this was we had a number of these things where I had to lay the bike completely over to get under a log.
It's a big tree. Kind of hurt my hand.
There was like 6 of those, where some of them were harder than others to get under, but it was like you had to lay the thing all the way over and just kind of crawl the bike under it. To say, a lot of guys talk to me about how the bikes are too tall, and while I know it's harder if you're shorter, this guy in front of me, Scott, he is 5'6", and he is a phenomenal rider. He's a much better rider than I am, and I've never once heard him complain about how tall the bikes are. Just saying, man.